Welcome to Investors Insights, episode number 143. Happy New Year as we begin 2016, and also from the standpoint as we talk about what could impact your portfolio in this year, as well as the rippling effects of 2015. Also, as we get into this discussion, we were thrilled in 2015 with the way our viewers responded to our dialogue. Our saying here is, if you like what we have to say, let us know. If you don't like what we have to say, we know you will let us know. And we are thrilled with the emails, the phone calls, the discussions, and throughout last year we tried to address all those topics. So let's see if we can't ramp that up even more in 2016. Also, please make sure that you follow our e-newsletter, that you also click on to see more of these vlogs. This is a great way to track what we are saying and looking at the big picture as we go into the rest of this year. Now, on that note, let's talk about 2016.
I'm Greg Powell, and this is Investors Insights.
You're listening to Investors Insights with President and CEO Greg Powell and the Portfolio Strategy Team at Five Plan Partners. 3, 2.
Here we are, and the markets, I guess, are recovering from a hangover from 2015. As we walked in the room, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 380 points. And that has everybody's attention. Today, China is once again a big topic. Will it be a big concern? Number two, in terms of Iran and Saudi Arabia, the Mideast once again makes headlines as there's tension there. I will tell you that this week I have going out a letter exclusively to our clients about 3 major themes that we're looking at. And we're going to discuss those as women, wealth, and wireless. And if you're a client, you'll be getting that letter to talk about where we see some major trends in the markets around those 3 themes. Now, on that note, guys, here we are, 2016. We constantly debate. Here's your opportunity to really go back and forth. Let's just brainstorm here like we do in our meetings and looking at data. We had a great meeting this morning. And just talk about 2016, the what ifs. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is everybody in agreement on that?
Sounds good.
Okay, so what ifs. So what if in terms of 2016, Bobby?
Well, you already said it, China. China started the year off on the wrong note. China caused a lot of volatility last year, and it's starting off this year.
Yeah.
And so their manufacturing data came out over the weekend, and it was poor.
Okay. And let me say this, could it be, I mean, you look at the map and China is a lot of land, but when you really look at their stock market, they really don't have as many investors as we think they do in the market. Right. Number 2 is that can they really be the impact everybody says? Maybe on emerging markets they could impact it, but what about good old USA? Could they really impact us?
Well, it's a global economy.
Right.
And so they're a big trading partner. Obviously, Canada is our number 1 trading partner, but China's a close second.
Sure.
And so it's a global economy. When they're showing weakness, investors worry. And
Yeah.
so,
I would say going into 2016, one of the benefits of China weakness in 2015 was we saw commodity prices come down.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
That helps the U.S. consumer.
Right.
And so we saw oil prices fall down in 2015. 2016, they don't have to fall anymore. They can just stay where they are, and the consumer really gets that benefit, ongoing savings.
Sure.
And that helps the U.S. consumer more.
Sure.
It really hurts.
Well, and if we stay with our projection from 2015, we still think oil prices have a ways to go, that they could go lower. And that would be beneficial. The people that hurt are in the energy industry. They're the ones that feel the huge impact in that. But I agree with you, that could be a great way to ignite inflation in this country. Get off this deflation bandwagon.
Exactly, commodity deflation, but you can see consumer price inflation, which gets people maybe spending, and the driver of that could lead to U.S. economic growth. So the big story of the headwind to the U.S. economy, the falling oil price in 2015, could, now that people are starting to be able to spend more, could be the tailwind in 2016.
Absolutely. Well, and one of the women I talk about in our theme of women and wealth and wireless is Janet Yellen.
Oh, yeah.
Will Janet be able to raise interest rates? this year. What are your thoughts on that?
So, so just personally, the market is showing that there's going to be 2 interest rate hikes. The Fed said they're going to do 4. Probably, personally, I think as a group, we've said that if they do 2, they'll probably have to back off. And so the Fed uncertainty of 2015, there'll still be uncertainty because it's clear the Fed's saying they're going to do 4, the market's saying they're going to be 2. There's no agreement right now. So that's Janet Yellen will continue to everything she says will have to be watched because she's not telegraphing what the market expects is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And to your point, the jobs report comes out on Friday, and so starting the year off, knowing where the jobs, where the economy's going, that will be important.
Right.
Well, and on China too, I think we all need to keep in mind their stock markets are still relatively young.
Right.
They're still figuring out how to do it.
Sure.
That's part of it too.
Sure. Yeah, and we hadn't even mentioned the strong dollar. The dollar could continue to move up, giving the United States, it gives us great purchasing power, but then if you got China over there marking down their products, there's a whole nother dynamic that's taking place there.
Yes.
And what about U.S. oil? We get to export now.
Yeah.
That law, how does that change the dynamics of the Mideast, as well as the energy business? That'll be a theme throughout this year.
And you said it earlier, Iran and Saudi Arabia are having tensions right now. Iranian oil hits the market this year, and Saudis have been persistent in keeping production levels high. Yep. And so what happens? What's the end game there?
Right.
Again, that's oil prices fell in 2015. They don't necessarily have to fall in 2016 to continue. We expect they will, but even at the current prices, there's still political unrest.
Right.
Everyone expected the U.S. oil production to collapse because of low prices. Well, it hasn't. Now we're exporting. So is it going to be U.S. producers, or is it going to be the global, international, the countries that produce? And we're starting to see the countries start to crack well before our businesses.
Right. And then of course we can't mention 2016 without presidential election and candidates. Thoughts there?
Yeah.
It will be interesting. It will be very interesting. And
another one of the women I think that I threw in my letter there is Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
At this point, I'd say Hillary's got the Democratic nomination, and we may see changes there. But then who will represent on the Republican side? What will be the issues? How that impact the markets? All of this will play into it.
Yeah, all the rhetoric will be built around Hillary. It's either Hillary's policies or how the Republican, whoever the nominee is responding to her policies. And so that rhetoric is what's going to push the market, hopefully usually creates opportunities.
Right.
Because it's an overreaction, because the political candidates actually have no power right now. But the market moves. We saw it last year with Hillary when she came out with the drug price.
Absolutely.
You saw the market react to that, even though she has no power to pass law.
Right.
You're going to see a lot of rhetoric that typically creates opportunity.
Sure. Well, and on that note, let me say this, is that where there's chaos, there's opportunity. Where there's change, there's opportunity. As we go into 2016, we're thrilled that everybody is more pessimistic. 2015, they went in overly optimistic, and we see what the final results are. Going in pessimistic, we get some positive changes, take advantage of opportunities. It can wind up being a very good year.
Okay.
So on that note, we thank you for taking time to watch us. We hope you forward this to colleagues, friends, and family. We hope it creates additional thoughts and questions that you might have, and we'll be in touch with you as clients to continue to bring you up to date and drill down on the specifics of each of these opportunities and topics we've talked about. And on that note, we wish you a very happy and prosperous 2016. Thank you.
More information at fiplanpartners.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC.